Yo, we back. What's going on, YouTube? We made it, episode 5. And again, going up. I gotta repeat it over and over because every time, if we set the bar here last time, the bar is like definitely up here this time. So just keep that in mind for number one. But I gotta let y'all know up front, I need y'all to subscribe to the channel. That's like number one out the door. And I want to thank all my subscribers because y'all definitely been holding me down. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And also, I need y'all to go to Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Guyz.Eregular cars. That way y'all gonna get a preview of the up and coming episode that's coming up next. So keep that in mind. Go to Instagram, follow me on that. Make sure y'all subscribe. All right, now that I got that out the way, this car, people. Whew, this car. I'm kind of speechless when it comes to this car, but the story in the car is gonna speak for itself. But again, I don't want to talk our heads off. We're gonna get right to the video, and we're gonna go and get it done. So now the man of the hour.
Nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Sheesh, my pleasure. So guys, I'm here with the man of the hour. We're gonna talk a little bit, and then we're gonna get to the car. Just hold your horses, because I know y'all wanna see it. And I wanna show it. But at the end of the day, we're gonna learn a little bit about the owner, and then we're gonna get to it. So, let me ask you, what's your name, and what's the city and state that you represent? And if you're down with any team, you can also represent.
Hey everyone, my name is Alec. Originally, moving forward, just in case you notice I have an accent, I am from Russia. I moved here with my family about 13-15 years ago. And right now I live in Jersey. We lived in Jersey ever since we moved, and I represent Jersey City.
Dope. Now, since you brought that up, that you are from Russia, were you into cars, and is there a car scene out there?
Oh yeah, the car scene in Russia is a little bit of a different beast. It is crazy and fun. Never got to really experience it when I was an adult already, because we moved out when I was 15. But I did get my passion for cars starting from my childhood back in Russia. My dad used to get me a lot of radio-controlled cars, and I used to love just having those toys, driving around, and that's where it all started.
It all started there.
Yeah.
Sheesh, well, welcome. Well, you've been here for a long time now, but anyway, welcome anyway, because you definitely boosting the culture up here, I gotta say.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad you're representing on this side. So, what's the year, make, and model of the vehicle that you're gonna show us today?
All right, so we're gonna be looking today at my 2021 Toyota Supra 3.0 Premium.
3.0 Premium.
That's an important factor.
That is an important factor.
It has to be premium.
So let me ask you, what's the difference in, for all the people that don't know about premium, what does that mean? When you put that in there, that means something.
Yeah. Okay. So not to misinform people, as far as I remember, 3.0 Premium includes heated seats, I think better sound system, and if I'm correct, the Bmw brakes only come with a Premium. If I'm correct.
Okay.
But
so basically,
go check on that fact.
Yeah, we'll fact check it or whatever the case may be. But basically, the Premium is like the top of the line. It's not the top.
No, if you want to go top, there's 1,000 limited edition cars with A91. And they only made 1,000 of them. They come in blue and black. And they have a couple of carbon fiber pieces here and there, a couple of trim logos, but it's all visuals. When I was considering getting which trim, if I were to get that limited edition, I didn't want to do it because, first of all, I think it was like $5,000-6,000 more, if not more. And knowing that I will change it so much, I wouldn't want to undermine the authenticity of a limited edition car.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. If you get something on that level, you probably don't even really want to mess with it.
Yeah, because you want to keep it limited as it was. You know, you don't want to touch it. It's limited, authentic edition. But what I've done to my car, it's way past what it was before originally. So.
Definitely. So I'm glad you mentioned the fact that if you would have went the route of that limited edition, at minimum, it probably would have been $4,000 or $5,000 more than what you was already going to spend on the car.
Yeah.
So that being said, I have to ask you, because when people see this car, they're going to be like, is that even possible to do as a regular guy? Because remember, this channel is about regular guys with irregular cars. So I got to ask you, what do you do for a living to be able to have made this car what it is?
I am a project manager for construction in New York City. Right now I work for a small private company. We do government contracts with Port Authority, MTA, School Authority, just construction.
Construction.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that's key. That's really key, because I want people to know that the cars that they see featured on the channel, you don't have to be a mega billionaire or some type of crazy star. Like,
no, you really don't. It's more about planning out your finances, sacrificing something here, sacrificing something there, and just changing your lifestyle a little bit to be able to, squeeze out that monthly payment that you can afford on a car.
Definitely. So y'all hear that first, guys. You don't have to hit the lottery to do this. If you got a passion for cars, it's a way that you could make it work. You plan it out. Like my man said, you plan it out and you budget yourself and it could be done.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be an overnight thing. Some people do it overnight and some people take their time and go through it. So I just want to make sure y'all motivated and inspired by these cars that y'all gonna see. So just keep that in mind. So what made you pick this particular car to customize?
Okay, so there's a little backstory to me ending up with this car. Before my previous car, I used to have Dodge Challenger RT. That was my car in college years.
Okay.
We were leasing it.
Right.
By we, I mean my dad and me. My dad paying for
it.
So it was my dad had a Challenger RT and I was driving it, let's be honest.
Nice.
Okay, and that muscle car was a very fun car. Mm-hmm. And when I graduated, and my lease was about at the same time running out, so I knew it was time for me to get something new. And as I got my first job, I got my salary, I kind of planned out, okay, how much per month can I afford? And then I had my budget of monthly payments to finance a car over 5 years, right? And I was looking at, I always wanted, something that catches an eye, something attractive, something like a neck breaker,
Yeah, neck breaker.
Neck breaker, that's a good word, yeah. Right. So I was looking at about 40,000 MSRP values.
Okay.
Because that would have landed me somewhere within 700-ish with a little bit of down payment.
Got it.
And I ended up with a very much depreciated Jaguar F-Type R, 2015 model. When they were being sold, they were sold for like 110,000, and then they depreciated a lot because of poor quality and bad Jaguar reputation when it comes to cars, many other reasons. But anyway, for me, I was like, yeah, I want that car, So right. I got it, and I had it for about 3-4 months, and I totaled it.
Totaled?
Yeah, I totaled it.
After
it was
3-4 months.
Yeah. So that was a very short-lived possession of that vehicle.
Right.
And once the insurance, they called me. They said, look, we have to total loss your car. Right away, I knew I had to replace that empty spot in my heart now with something else,
Right.
And it was just about the time the new Toyota Supra, well, it was already on the market. I've seen it before. I never really paid much attention to it, like as my possible future car. But when I didn't have a Jaguar, I started browsing. I didn't want to just get another Jaguar.
Right.
That would have been boring.
Right.
So I looked at the Supra and I realized that it really, design-wise, it really is very unique. It has very almost like alien-like curves. Like it just flows,
Right.
And at the time when it came out, it was a little bit more fresh. Now you see Supras a little bit more often, but before you would just look at it, and even up now, you look at it and you don't even know what car it is.
Different, yeah.
It's different.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that is the reason. I think it's mostly for the design of it.
Okay.
And a little bit performance combination as well, because that matters.
That matters as well. All right. So that being said, people, I know y'all want to see it. Y'all want to see this alien type car that we're talking about, the one that's different. So without further ado, can you please show us the car?
Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Sheesh. All right, guys. So this is my Toyota Supra.
What did you do? Let's start from the exterior first, though.
Well, yeah, there's as you can see, there's a lot going on exterior visually, and I'll tell it to you in a progression how I was putting it on my car. So before it was all plain white, the first decal that ever went on this car was this one. And I wanted to go with the JDM theme, being a Toyota Supra, historically having a JDM heritage. I wanted to go with the JDM, although given the half German background of this car, didn't care, you know, it's still a Toyota Supra. So yeah, so this decal went first, and that decal went second, and then I kind of wanted to fill in this space, and that's when I came out with the highlight, I'd say, of my car, which is the cherry blossom. Found this decal on Etsy, both sides, $40. A lot of people get surprised. This whole, like, it's so minimalistic, but that's what's beautiful about it. It's not much. Right. It fills the space, and it's not expensive at all. And I apply it all myself. I learned how to vinyl throughout modifying this car. I was learning how to vinyl, and after that, I just went crazy with it. You know.
That's crazy. So, now I want to backtrack real quick. Yeah. You said the JDM theme. For the people that don't know, what does that mean? What is the JDM? Or you said it has a JDM background?
Yeah, well, JDM, Japanese, like what you would see on Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, what I would see when I was growing up in Need for Speed,
right.
You know, something that would make it look like, oh, that's a car out of Japan. That's right. The car that's one of those cars that drifts around and it's fast and fun, you know. It's just that's the whole vibe, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, you picked cherry blossom. What made you pick the cherry blossom with the tree and the theme of that?
I think because my background was the background of the car was white. I looked at a couple of Google images of different Japanese art and stuff, and one of Japanese very prominent art styles is these minimalistic cherry blossom side paintings.
Yes.
So I thought that would perfectly, you know, apply to the side of my car, and given then the very simple white minimalistic background.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's considered. So that's in regards with the cherry blossom and the vinyl. Then I went on to the body parts, and by body parts there's not much, but I started with a splitter. So the splitter was my first aftermarket actual piece that I put on a car. So this part. And I had to put 4 support rods, and these are actually, they're not just for the looks. I know they look fun, but they actually fulfill the function, because as obviously the splitter function and the downforce exerts on it, these splitter rods, right now it's not in tension, but as the air goes down, now it puts it in tension, and it helps. So it's not just a gimmick. For me, personally, for my splitter, it fulfills the function of helping it out.
Definitely.
Then I added some side skirts to go along with the width of the front. The side skirts, they have changed colors throughout my possession of it, but now I ended up with a burgundy accent to it. The side skirts, and then the rear, I guess they call it rear canards. That's the word for it. These little thingies, just to kind of fill the whole surround of the wider piece of the car, you know. And then the wing came on, actually. So this is not my first wing. This is my second wing.
What kind of wing is that?
This is nothing fancy. This is a Duraflex, fiberglass wing. I found it on eBay. So as I mentioned, this is my second wing. The first wing was 74 inches. It was a little bit smaller than that. And I think last summer, a truck that was backing up, so I was stationary, the truck was backing up a commercial truck. And you know how commercial trucks, they have that frame in the back, like a metal frame?
Right.
So with this frame, he tugged it like this, and he twisted the whole wing off, including my trunk.
What?
And actually he nicked the bumper as well, so that all had to be replaced. Luckily for me, at no expense, because it wasn't my fault.
Right.
But the wing was an aftermarket part, so the insurance, the insurance didn't pay, because in my insurance they have up to $1,000 of aftermarket parts.
Okay.
So I did get my money back for the wing, and I went back on eBay and I saw a bigger wing. And I was like, why not? Time for that was good. It was a good reason to get a different wing, and I just got this. It's like the same model what I had before, just a little bit bigger. So this is 80 inches.
80 inches.
80 inches. Hard. I don't know if you can find bigger wings.
Right. Unless you're gonna go with a wing from an airplane, that's the only wing you might.
Yeah, and it took. It took some engineering here. I had to make custom support plates here because the original ones were narrow. Like you see, this one is the original piece right here.
Okay.
And then this one is the one that I designed after, because you need to distribute the force a little better. Otherwise, the downforce will pierce through the connection.
Okay.
And the cross cables for the stability of this whole frame, you know, because without them, the wing would just wobble like that. It's not safe.
So let me ask you. That being said, did your construction background come into play with putting this?
I would say
figuring that part
construction
out?
background definitely helped of understanding or assuming that I understand how things work a little bit, you know, with these. But yeah, so at this wing, I think I have more than 10,000 miles on it. So at this point, I'm safe to say it's it's stable, engineered okay, you know.
Definitely.
I didn't even have to do any maintenance. The only thing now and then, maybe every month or so, I would need to tighten up these wires. As you can see, they're both clamped with these clamps, and although they are pretty tight, over the time as this thing pulls on it, this piece slides out. So this piece slides out, the tension gets lower, and this piece right here is what I use to actually apply the tension. This, like you twist it, and it kind of like connects the things together. But I want, like here, so you see I'm actually running out of space now to connect it. That screw, I'm getting a little specific technical here, but if you look right here, these two screws are already touching each other. So there's no more room for connection.
Yeah.
So next time, I'll probably, in a couple of weeks or maybe even next week, I'm gonna have to retension it. So there's gonna be more space that I can use to
to make it tighter.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's the wing. So once the wing was done, once all the vinyls and all that was done, visually the car looked complete to me.
Yes.
And then I went on to some aftermarket body parts, not body, performance parts, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay, we're definitely gonna get there.
Yeah. So
before we go to performance, did you do any work to the interior? Did you touch the interior at all?
Well, let's look at the interior. My interior is nothing crazy. It's actually almost no work done. I'd say the only work, so to speak, done are the custom floor mats with my IG on it with a cherry blossom.
Oh, that's cool.
I have some fun lighting, but it's bright right now, so you're not gonna see it. That would be all pretty much.
That's cool. Did you do any audio?
No, the stock audio on the 3.0 Premium is pretty good. It's good.
Okay.
If I were to change anything about it, I just didn't have time to get to it.
Okay.
It would be the bass. But not to say the bass is bad.
Right.
I would just feel like the bass, there's room for improvement.
Okay.
Yeah, I really want to get into it, you know?
Definitely. So now we're ready for performance-wise. What did you do performance-wise?
So I'm glad that I can finally say that I did have some performance down to it, because before, when the car looked like this, everybody assumed that it must have been tricked out inside as well. And I was like, no, it's stock. It's stock. It just looks like that, but it's all stock. But now it's not that stock. So I started with deleting the muffler and the resonator.
Really?
Just to give it a little bit more growl.
Okay.
Well, so in case of Toyota Supra, the muffler, it weighs a lot. So it's it's a combination of things. So you get a more found sound, you get a straight flow of air, and you get about 30 pounds off your car. Really? That muffler was chunky, you know, so 30 pounds.
So it makes the car lighter.
It makes the car a little lighter, it makes it more fun, more loud.
For sure.
Gotta say, once I deleted the resonator, which fulfills the purpose of deleting the resonation, the car did start to drone a little bit.
Okay.
In the lower gears, sorry, in higher gears at low RPMs, it would just feel like, you know, just like buzz, tremble in the car. But you know what? I'm a car guy. I'm okay with this.
Right.
Yeah, no. So that the car definitely started to sound very fun.
It started to sound very fun.
Yeah.
So we're definitely gonna have to hear that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to hear that
down the road. Yes.
Okay.
So once I did my pipe, Once I did my pipe, I went to get the downpipe. Downpipe is one of the first things you can do to a car that's turboed to get a little better performance out of that.
That has turbo?
Yeah, they come turbo stock.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a B58 engine, Bmw engine, turbo.
Really?
Single turbo, yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I didn't know that.
So I did the downpipe.
Okay.
And then, well, I don't know if you want me to pop the hood right now.
Sure, why not?
As we're talking about the engine.
Yeah, let's go.
Again, I haven't done much aftermarket stuff in the hood, but as I'm speaking about my downpipe, and the cold air intake. So that's the last thing I did, the cold air intake.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a huge engine. What is this a V6?
This is a V6, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a BMW engine. So they have a Toyota logo over here, but if you're gonna start looking over here, all the parts they have BMW logos on them right there. You can, yeah. That's
interesting, and that leads back to what you said. Where you said that it has some German roots in it, right? Because
well, no, I would. That German roots would be an understatement. It's 95% car German. It's 95%
Really?
BMW. If I were to take this metal body off and put a Z4 body on, it will fit and it will become a Z4.
Wow, got you.
Yep.
Got you. Definitely. And that's something a lot of people don't know, because when they think Toyota, they think Japanese.
Yeah.
So to hear that it's German.
Yeah, so that is one of the main questions when people ask me. They ask me, so how much German is it?
Right.
I'd say 95% German.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Okay. So is there anything else going on as far as that's pretty much it performance wise, right?
And it's tuned.
And
that's the final piece that connects all of this. It runs on the BM3 tuning software.
Okay.
For stage 2, which assumes a downpipe and cold air intake, and it gives me. I haven't dynoed it. The stock Supra, I think it's 376 on the newer models. It feels somewhere mid 400s, 450, 460.
400 horsepower.
Well, 460, 450.
460.
Yes. Don't lose those 50 horsepower, man.
That 50, 60 horsepower makes a huge difference, people. So I wanted to make sure y'all understood when he was throwing them numbers out there. He's talking horsepower. So you said the new ones come around 370.
Yeah.
And yours is pushing about 460. So that's almost an extra 100 horsepower we're talking here.
And it's a fun situation with the Supras. So the 2019 and 2020 Supras, they had 320 something or 330 horsepower.
Okay.
So everything is the same. Right. And then on 21 model, Toyota decided to tune it up. So the same, and everything was the same. They just decided to tune it up, which just shows that the engine can take a lot. If a manufacturer decides, you know what, we can push out even on the factory car more of this engine.
Right.
This engine, I mean, you'd see people pushing over 800 horsepower with a turbo upgrade. It doesn't take much to make this car crazy. You know?
Right.
Yeah, so very tunable cars.
Okay. So I have another question, and it's not necessarily performance related. So I want to just make sure I remind you that we definitely want to hear the car, but we're going to move away from performance. So whenever you're ready.
Well, okay, so let me turn it on because I want the exhaust to heat up a little bit for it to actually start popping. And also we're in a good spot right now because nobody's going to bother us about this.
About the sound.
So let's give it a minute.
Okay.
If you want to talk about something else for now.
Yeah, so, alright, so that brings us to our next question. So, you talked about a lot of the stuff you did cosmetically, performance-wise, you touched the interior just a slight little bit. I gotta ask you, what was the most expensive customizations that you've done so far? What would you say?
I did realize that I did forget about one more thing. It's the lowering springs. I do have sport springs.
Yeah. So you lowered the car?
Yeah, it's on A-back sport springs.
How many inches? Like what?
I think it's 1.5 inches when they put it on, but over a year I think it settled a good 1/2 inch after as well.
Okay.
So I think it's about 1.75 inches lower now. Gotcha. I'd say. But yeah, so the most expensive. If I was to do the vinyl, it would have been the most expensive. But since I was doing it myself, it just turned out to be material, which I'd say was about $500 in total of material just to get the car where it is visually. So labor was my own free labor, you know.
Okay.
But I think the most expensive was the wing.
Mm-hmm.
The wing, considering all the custom connections I had to do to it, and as you see, it's also wrapped with decals on it and stuff.
Yes.
So altogether, if you were to look at the wing with its brackets, I'd say it was about $1,700,
Mm-hmm.
which is not it's not a crazy cost for a mod, but that would be the most expensive thing. The second most expensive thing would be probably on the same level. It would be the lowering springs, which cost me about $300 plus the installation another $200-300, makes it $700.
Right.
And then the downpipe, the tune, and the cold air intake, they all hover around $500-600 each.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you too. Since you brought up the wing again, and I almost skipped past it. But speaking of the wing, you have a signature.
Yes, I do. I do have signature. Yeah, about a couple of weeks, I think 3 weeks ago, I was lucky to catch Frederick Osbo. For those guys who don't know what it is, that's the champion of Formula Drift League in the United States, and he also drives a Toyota Supra. So I was able to catch him at the pits, and make small talk with him. Told him I have a Supra, and he was able to sign my end plate on my wing with his signature. So I'm very proud of it. I think that must be the most authentic and most unique thing I can have on the car.
Definitely. Now I gotta ask you one more thing related to that signature. And you said you was able to go down to the pits, talk to him. You told him you got a Supra, and y'all got into a little small talk, and then he was able to sign it. But my question is, did you go down there with the piece of the wing in your back pocket? Like, hey,
no, I was not. I was not looking for it. No,
right.
Yeah. So I was not looking for it. It was kind of improvisation. I went there just to chat with him, maybe get an autograph on a piece of paper or something.
Right.
But as I chatted with him, I realized how approachable he was, and then it's not like I have these 10 seconds to get, and then I'll never see him again.
Right.
I realized he told me, "Look, I'm around here, just." And I realized I have time. And when I realized I have time, I wanted to use that opportunity to really make something fun. And that's where I kind of just that idea snapped into me. Like, why don't I run to my car, take the cap off? I screwed it off. I ran back to him. I was like, "Can you sign it?"
Perfect. Okay, now see, it all comes together.
Yeah.
Because when you was telling me the story, I'm like, "That." So did he come down there with his wing in his back pocket? Like, could you sign this, or did you run back? Like, so you cleared it up. So that. All right.
I seized the opportunity.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Which people, I advise you in life, seize the opportunity. Because when you seize opportunities, people, it usually works out for the better. Just want to keep that. Any little tidbit that I can snatch, I'm going to try to make sure I make it clear for y'all guys to catch it so it won't go over your head.
All right. I think the car might be ready actually now.
Okay. You think it's ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear it, man. Yeah. Definitely sounds like the real deal, guys. Yikes. You waking up the neighbors at night when you pull in?
I have to be more responsible with this pop tune, because what you heard right now, so I don't know why the way it works the way it does, but with the Supras, the pops that are produced during the parking are not as loud as the pops that are produced during the driving. Okay. So the loudest pops I would get, they're actually much louder than these. They would be when I downshift from my third gear to second at 45 miles per hour. That's like the magic spot I identified in my car.
Okay.
And if I get that, it just crushes your freaking chest.
Yikes! I could imagine.
And but I have to be more responsible, as sometimes I'm still learning how these pops react to throttle and to downshift, and I would just drive and it would just create this loud bang, in the middle of like residential area. I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I'm still learning.
It's late, it's 2 in the morning, and he's like, pop, 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 pop. But that makes, so you said that you're still learning it. So that brings me to my next question. So how long have you been working on this whole project?
So I had this car since November 2020, so a little over a year now.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just been the constant project, ongoing thing, never finished, never feels like I'm done, always feels like I can always do something. Definitely. Literally 3 days ago I just did this.
Yeah?
I looked at the front lights and I was like, what can I do to that? And I just blocked them out partially to give...
3 days ago?
Yeah.
So people, we catching it here first. The newest mod.
Yeah,
right
I don't think I have a photo shoot with these yet.
With that? Oh,
yes,
wow.
all my photos on my page are
That's monumental right there. Yes, yes, definitely. We got it here first, y'all. So whoever gets it next, just realize y'all got it next. All right?
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Man, so is this your daily drive, or you just pull this out on weekends?
So this is my only car. So it is my daily driver. However, since I live in Jersey City and I work in New York City, when I do have to go to work, most of the times I just take the public transport. I take PATH, and then from PATH I go to the subway and all that. But when I do need to drive, yeah, this is the vehicle I drive, and I learned how to manage. I learned how to make it work.
Right.
I learned all the potholes, all the dangerous areas, and just gotta be always alert. You
Exactly.
know? This splitter probably got scraped off 5-6 times off the car.
Really?
But it's aluminum. This piece is aluminum. So it doesn't take much to fix it. I just take it off, I bang it with a hammer, straighten it out a little bit. If I have to, I rewrap it. If I have to, I fix some connections, and it's good to go again.
It's good to go. So you don't have to keep buying new splitters. You could just kind of...
This splitter is probably the biggest liability when it comes to driving.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Especially on the East Coast where we got these potholes and craters and all types of stuff.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind for all my viewers that's not on the East Coast. We got to deal with a lot. So when you see these mods done on these cars, just realize it's not, you know, it's not just a walk in the park. We really got to deal with a lot with these things. Let me ask you, and speaking of that too, was there anything you did that was a headache, or you said you regret doing it? Like you said, I would never do this again.
If I were to backtrack,
yeah.
Do I have anything that I regret that I've done onto this car? You see, it's a good thing that I have to think about it. That means I did think so. I'd say sometimes I know the splitter rods. So the splitter rods, a lot of people think it's ricey, so to speak. They think that it just looks like an over design. And honestly, for it to be more efficient, I would want to, instead of having these, I would want to bolt it in the bumper.
Okay.
However, there are two reasons why I have not done that. First, I don't want to be drilling into my bumper. Right. And the second is that if I were to connect and stiffen this up, then whenever the splitter pushes up, you see how when I push up, it has some wiggle room.
Yes.
So this connection works with me, and the force doesn't translate onto the bumper. If it was going to be a bumper and something messes up my splitter, it would either pierce through the bumper, crack the bumper, and it's just, sometimes I look at it as like, I wish I could do it properly, so to speak, but I have reasons why I cannot or don't want to do that.
No, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense to do it the way you did it. And I think that might be a mistake that a lot of other people might not. They might go directly into the bumper, but then they have those other issues.
But yeah, mentioning that we live in New York City and all these roads on the East Coast, you have to consider also the surface that you're working with when you drive these cars, you know?
Definitely. So that leads us towards the end of the interview, but I gotta ask you, are there any other plans for this car? You said it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I might say
that you're gonna do something?
Right now, I don't have any clear future vision for this car, in the sense that I'm definitely gonna do something to it. I know that I'm going to. I just don't know what yet.
Okay.
Looking at a more bigger picture, maybe down the road, I do want to wide body it, put an HKS kit on it.
Nice.
But that's probably gonna be in a couple of years. I don't want to rush into it.
Right.
Because I like the car the way it is. To me, it looks like a complete, final project done.
Definitely. I love
and then everything else is just out of boredom.
Out of boredom, exactly. Because I mean, honestly speaking, this is a work of art right here. This is definitely a work of art.
Yeah, I got my vinyl printer recently, so I just started slapping decals and everything. Like, I have a decal on my rim that I printed out.
Really?
Like, I just put decals on everything.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. Man.
And the rims are aftermarket too, by the way. I didn't mention about it. They look like almost stock Supra rims, but these are aftermarket. They're a little lighter and a little bit different design.
Okay. What size wheels are those too?
These are 19 inches. 19 inches, yeah.
Definitely. Beautiful joint. Alright, so is there any social media or anything you want to shout out before we come to the conclusion?
I want to give a shout out to Midnight Runners. This is my my crew. Nice. It's engraved right on my wing.
Midnight Runners. Okay.
And yeah, you guys, if you like my car and want to see the future of this project, I post a lot, just my daily life.
Yes.
Sometimes I overpost, so I'm gonna totally spam out your news feed. But this is my IG right here, NJ Supra. Very simple. It's an NJ Supra, Supra from New Jersey. NJ Supra.
Exactly. Listen, I gotta say, if your Instagram is a little caption of, like you said, your life, it's like a movie. Looking at his Instagram, people, when y'all tap in, y'all gonna be like, wow, this is like watching some sort of, Fast and the Furious movie type. The vibes is crazy, but y'all gonna love it, man. But I gotta say, thank you. Thank you for your time.
It was very fun.
Definitely appreciate it here. Listen, guys, we're going up, man. I can't stress it enough. As you see, we are really going up. I'm not saying it just to say it. So keep that in mind. Make sure y'all go to Instagram, Guyz.Eregular cars. Make sure y'all follow us, follow what we doing, all the different projects we got going on. Also, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, Guyz.Eregular cars. This is for y'all. This is for all my regular guys out there. We doing this. We pushing the culture. We trying to push it forward. Let people know what's really going on out here with regular guys and irregular cars. That being said, love y'all. Peace.